Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel where we talk all things writing, literature, and research. My name is Dr. Whitney Kosters and I've been teaching college writing for 2 decades. And today's lecture is on revision. Not the most glamorous part of writing, but the part that separates average writers from powerful ones. And I'm going to start with 2 voices that might surprise you. Anne Lamott, in her famous essay, Shitty First Drafts, says that every good writer she knows writes messy, embarrassing, even chaotic first drafts. She reminds us that the first draft isn't supposed to be polished, it's supposed to be bad. That's just how you get the material down. And Ernest Hemingway, who we all usually imagine as confident and brilliant, said it even more bluntly. The first draft of anything is shit. If Hemingway and Lamott agree on this, maybe we should stop imagining that good writers produce brilliance in one shot. Because the truth is, they don't. They simply revise. And that's really the point. Revision isn't punishment, and it isn't just fixing commas. Revision is where you decide what your writing actually says, whether your argument is clear, your evidence convincing, and your structure effective. Before we get into strategies, let's acknowledge why revision often gets ignored. First, there's the myth that revision just means fixing grammar. In reality, editing is surface level polish. Revision is structural. Second, some students think if it makes sense to me, then it's fine. But writing isn't for you, it's for your reader. And finally, there's the myth that if you revise, it means you're a bad writer. But actually, the opposite is true. The best writers revise the most. Once you drop these myths, revision stops feeling like busy work and starts feeling like the real work of writing. So let's clarify. Editing is fixing surface level issues like grammar, spelling, and punctuation. Revision, on the other hand, is re-seeing, asking whether your thesis is strong, whether your evidence convinces, whether your audience will care, whether your structure makes sense. If you only edit, you polish the surface of something that might still be weak underneath. If you revise, you strengthen the foundation. And here's why this matters. Revision is where you learn. Drafting is expression, revision is discovery. Drafting shows what you think, while revision forces you to sharpen, deepen, and clarify. So let me show you. Suppose your thesis is, pollution is bad for the environment. Well, that's vague. No reader will care because they already know it and it's not debatable. So you revise it to, plastic pollution is harming ecosystems. Okay, that's a little better, but it's still surface level and not very debatable. Let's revise again with specifics. Unchecked plastic pollution in ocean disrupts ecosystems, endangers wildlife, and threatens human health through the food chain. Now we're sharper, but let's add urgency so the reader feels called to action. If current plastic pollution trends continue, the ocean will contain more plastic than fish by 2050, an ecological collapse with direct consequences for human survival. Do you see the difference? Revision didn't just improve grammar, it transformed the idea. Vague to focused, focused to urgent, urgent to persuasive. Now it's your turn. Consider this weak paragraph. College is stressful and students feel a lot of pressure. The schools should do more about mental health. It's kind of sad that we don't have enough support. Now pause the video for a minute and try to revise this paragraph into something stronger. Add evidence, be more specific, think about the audience, and then hit play again when you're finished. Okay, so now that you've taken some time to revise it yourself, I'm going to share with you one way that I might revise it. Universities cannot treat student mental health as a side issue. A 2022 survey by the American College Health Association found that 77% of students reported moderate to severe stress affecting their coursework. Expanding counseling services and integrating stress management workshops into orientation would give students tools before crises occur. Notice how the revision does 3 things. It names the issue directly, it brings in credible evidence, and it offers a specific, actionable solution. Revision took a vague opinion and made it a persuasive argument. And if you're willing, share your revision in the comments. I would love to see how you approached it. Now that you know the importance of revision, how do you actually revise? So I'm going to give you 7 strategies that you can use every time. First, the so what test. After every claim, ask, so what? Why does this matter? If you can't answer, your reader won't care. Second, the evidence sandwich. Evidence is never enough by itself. You need the bread. The top slice introduces the evidence, like who said it, when, and why it's credible. The meat is the actual quote, statistic, or example. And the bottom slice explains it and connects it back to your thesis. No bread, and your reader just gets cold meat. Third is the reverse outline. After drafting, write a quick outline of what you actually said. If the outline doesn't match your thesis, or if paragraphs don't connect, then you know where to revise. Fourth is the read aloud test. If your sentence trips you up when you read it out loud, it's going to trip up your reader. Revision often starts by hearing where your words stumble. The fifth strategy is color coding for balance. Highlight your thesis, evidence, analysis, and transitions in different colors. If your page is drowning in one color, you'll know instantly where balance is missing. The sixth tool is cut the throat clearing. Writers often warm up with a paragraph that the reader just doesn't need. Try cutting your first 4 sentences and see if your essay actually starts stronger. The seventh tool is to integrate peer reviews into your revision. Feedback isn't useful unless you revise with it. Look for patterns. If multiple people mention the same issue, it's probably very real. Prioritize big picture concerns like argument and structure before small ones like word choice. Translate comments into action steps, not vague notes, and keep what serves your vision. You don't have to take every suggestion. A good way to think about it is this. Editing is when you fix things. Peer review shows you what actually needs fixing. Now, why does learning how to revise matter beyond school? Because most people don't revise. They post their first drafts online, they send them as emails, they use them in arguments. And the result is vague, emotional, unconvincing words that don't persuade anyone. Revision is what makes you stand out. In professional life, it's the difference between a sloppy email that gets ignored and a clear message that gets action. It's the difference between a vague proposal that gets tossed aside and a persuasive one that gets funded. And in the digital world, where most people post without revising, a thoughtful message can cut through the noise and actually get remembered. Revision builds your ethos or your credibility. It shows you think carefully, respect your reader, and have control over your words. So here's the takeaway. Your first draft is supposed to be bad. Lamott laughs at it and Hemingway curses at it. But both remind us that the first draft is just the beginning. Revision is where you find your argument, where you grow as a thinker, where you stop sounding just like another voice and start sounding like someone worth listening to. The first draft is for you, revision is for the reader. And the more you revise, the more powerful your writing and your voice will become. If this video helped you rethink revision, be sure to check out some of my other videos on peer reviews, writing conclusions, thesis statements, literature, etc. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future lessons. Be well.